No time to catch our breath as the MTN Elite One Championship puts us all at the edge of our seats. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to a brand new edition of La Presse refait le match. Well, in 1 week, we've witnessed 17 intense games with 29 impeccable goals from over a dozen of amazing players. The 2023-2024 season of the MTN Elite One Championship is interesting as the day goes by. Well, I'm sure my guests with me right here have a lot to say on this. Now, talking about guests, I would introduce you to the panel today. It's two gentlemen in the studio with me. I'd start with the goalkeeper, ex-goalkeeper extraordinaire, and that is in the person of Mbem Leopold. You know about him, the best goalkeeper in 2016. He has played with Young Sports Academy, UMS of Loom, Babutus de Buddha. I mean, the list goes on. And like I said, you should make sure you take note of that. Ex-goalkeeper extraordinaire. Bonsoir, Monsieur Mbem.
Bonsoir.
Comment vous allez?
Je vais très bien, merci. Et vous?
Je vais bien, je vais bien. C'est un plaisir de vous avoir.
Ah, le plaisir partagé.
On s'est rencontrés à the Mbappé Le Pays Stadium. Tu étais en train de regarder le match. Comment tu apprécies le championnat? Ça a commencé?
Ouais, le championnat a commencé, donc ce qui fait que le championnat se joue bien. J'apprécie le spectacle dans les stades.
Oui, oui, et on aura le temps de parler des matchs qui se sont joués partout dans le Cameroun, pas seulement ici à Douala. On a eu les matchs à Yaoundé, les matchs à Buda, les matchs à Bamenzi Stadium as well. So we would have time to talk all about that. Opposite Mbem Leopold is a sports journalist, sports analyst, stadium announcer, you name it. None other than Gilbert through Gilbert. Good evening.
Good evening, Oni, and thanks for the presentation. That's too big for me. Thanks a lot. It's all about hard work, and it's a real pleasure sharing the panel with Leopold Mbem, whom I had the privilege to watch when I was still playing for Young Sports Academy. Before we got in here, we had a little exchange on his performances by then and all those things, and I asked him if he still goes to Bamenda. He told me, yeah, he keeps on going there. And despite the crisis there, Bamenda remains a home for him. But me say good afternoon to someone who's so special to us, to the media officers. That's my friend Joël Evefotre of Bafoussam. They call him La Voix de l'Ouest. This is the guy who's doing a wonderful job back there in the Western region. All the matches have been done to regional level. Joël Evefotre, bonsoir to my friend.
Yeah, talk about team press officer, before we get into the conversation and the different games. I must say I'm quite impressed by the different works, these teams are doing. Before a game, you obviously flyer between, it's not every team that has obviously picked up that drive, but you see most of these sites, Canon Sportif is really frequent. Whenever they have a game, you see a flyer of their different encounters. Newcomers Dinamo de Douala is also in there. And I think, the team press officers, some of them are really doing an amazing job.
Yeah, when President Etofis took over, he said we're going to professionalize stuff, so point, and that's where we are today. So the different clubs have actually understood that communication has a big role to play when it gets into the performance of the club. If you look at a squad like Dinamo of Douala today, if they're having what they're having, it's thanks to the massive communication they're doing. Clubs like Fovazuli, Canon of Yaoundé, spectacular performances because they're communicating. People are aware of what's going on. And sincerely speaking, it's not ended there at the club levels. Even at the level of the CTFP, there's a team that's been created. Over 23 journalists are amongst them. We're working on a daily basis. Each game played, CTFP as a media officer that gives minute-by-minute reports to the to different pressmen and others, that define zones for interviews and others. So you see, journalists in Cameroon are really taking, the step ahead when it comes to the professional level. When you cover CAF games and FIFA games, it's a different story. So we have to be used to that. The AFCON that's coming up in Côte d'Ivoire, we shouldn't go there and we beat about the bush. We should be used to what's going on. We should be used to the press environment, and that's just what we are doing. So professionalism doesn't only end at the level of clubs and the others, but the CTFP and pressmen like us at the grassroots should be involved in the process.
No, thank you for that. Talk about professionalism. Well, we are still en route to that because in the first, day one and even match day two of the MTN Elite One Championship, we did experience lots of problems in terms of licenses that saw some games, did not even hold, like UMS of Loom against Avion Academy, and also really important games. I mean, we even saw Yves Clément Aroga out of Dynamo's technical bench in their first game of the season. Well, we will start with the first segment of La Presse refait le match, and that is the Elite News. Thing that make up Elite News of today. Despite the very, very competitive start of the MTN Elite One Championship, we've, however, witnessed some lapses at the level of licenses, where some games have not, taken place as they were supposed to, and also some clubs dealing with that. And not only that, we look at the start date of the MTN Elite 2 Championship. The draws were conducted last week with Bafmen United and Ice of Hope's Academy in the same group. It shows it's going to be competitive, and also the Guinness Super League already has a start date as well. Let's go find out more in this report. Licenses issues mar the start of the new elite season. Many teams have been affected by the late delivery of licenses, with the most extreme case being the cancellation of the match between Avion Academy and UMS of Loom, after the latter showed up with only 13 licensed players. Other teams such as Aigle Royal had to play without their best players, while Dynamo had to do without their coach Clément Aroga on the bench. Refereeing controversies have also emerged in the first two rounds of the season. Bamboo Tuesday Buddha and Victoria United have complained about alleged biased decisions by the referees in their games against PWG of Bamenda and Cotonsport of Garoua. Dynamo de Douala paid tribute to their former captain J. Marius by observing a minute of silence before their match against Les Astres, despite the supposed tensions as shown by Captain Momaso throwing his armband. On a positive note, the draw for the Elite 2 has been done. 15 teams have been divided into two groups. Group A consists of newcomers Isosa, Bafmen United, Dragon, Edingspor, ISFAP, Unisport du Oncam, Foncher Street, and Lupa Sportive. Group B features TKC, Renaissance, Yafut, Aigle du Mungo, Rangers of Bafut, Racing of Bafoussam, and Jigo FC. The competition will kick off on October 10, 2023. As for the women's top flight competition, the Guinness Super League will start on October 14. 12 teams will participate, with the opening match between Authentic Ladies and Lake FV scheduled to take place in Douala. To that, a lot has been happening in local football. Obviously, Elite 2 is around the corner, Guinness Super League as well. Now, we're finished with Elite News for today. Let's move over to the second segment where we talk about the games.
On a une pléthore d'arbitres qui ont été suspendus. Ça connote deux choses. Quand il y a trop d'arbitres suspendus, ça peut vouloir dire que le niveau peut-être n'est pas bon, et ça peut aussi vouloir dire que la commission sévit lorsque les choses ne se passent pas bien. Mais je vais simplement dire que pour remédier à ce type de situation, ce n'est que le travail. Le travail, c'est la clé de toute chose. C'est-à-dire que nous nous remettons en cause chaque fois, nous bossons avec les arbitres afin que les performances puissent s'améliorer. Mais je vais rappeler aussi que lorsque nous avons un effectif pléthorique d'arbitres, c'est un peu difficile que l'arbitrage soit bien fait. Je vais vous prendre un exemple simple. L'année dernière, nous avons 10 matchs par journée en championnat. Si on prend 20 équipes par exemple, nous avons 10 matchs et nous avons peut-être 34 arbitres. Ça veut dire qu'un arbitre doit jouer un match et ne revenir jouer qu'après 3 ou 4 journées. Imaginez-vous un joueur de football qui joue un week-end et qui doit attendre 4 journées pour jouer encore. Est-ce qu'il sera compétitif? Je ne pense pas. Donc nous avons trouvé, quand nous avons été nommés, nous avons été élus en 2021, avec le président Samuel Eto'o, nous avons trouvé qu'il y avait plus de 34-35 arbitres en Elite 1. Alors qu'il n'y avait que 9 ou 10 matchs. Ça veut dire que les arbitres n'étaient pas compétitifs. Lorsqu'un arbitre joue un match et doit revenir 5 journées après, il n'est pas compétitif. Et ses performances ne peuvent pas être bonnes. C'est pour ça que nous nous sommes attelés d'abord à la régulation. À commencer d'abord à revenir à un effectif plus réduit qui se fait un peu de partout. En France, ils sont à 20, en Angleterre, 19, en Espagne, 22, ainsi de suite. Nous sommes revenus d'abord à un effectif conséquent. Et pour cela, ça ne peut pas se faire en un an. On a dû prendre 2 saisons pour que l'effectif quitte de 34 et que cette saison nous retrouvons à 22. Nous avons 22 arbitres en Elite 1 pour 9 matchs de championnat par journée. Ça veut dire que lorsque nous utilisons 9 arbitres et 9 quatrièmes, chaque arbitre joue 3 matchs sur 4. Et il y a même certains qui jouent 4 matchs sur 4. Je peux même vous rappeler aussi qu'il y a des arbitres qui peuvent être quatrième une journée et arbitres pour la même journée. Et à partir de ce moment, les arbitres sont en contact avec l'arbitrage. Chaque semaine, peut-être même 2 fois par semaine, ils sont en contact avec le métier, avec le job. Chaque semaine, et après ils deviennent donc compétitifs. Et nous pensons que c'est la première façon de mettre les arbitres en activité et peut-être de faire progresser un peu, le niveau. C'est l'action que nous avons commencé à mener. La deuxième action, c'est que la Fédération camerounaise de football nous a octroyé un peu plus de stages de recyclage. Ça veut dire que les arbitres seront recyclés un peu plus de fois. L'année dernière, on était à 2 stages par an. Cette année, le président a demandé qu'on passe à 4 stages. Donc ils seront recyclés en début de saison, comme ils l'ont fait avant de commencer le championnat, en mi-saison. Quand je parle de mi-saison, ça veut dire que si la phase allait à 10 journées, après 5 journées, ils vont faire un recyclage. On va faire un stop, un break, ils vont faire un recyclage. Et après 10 journées, un autre, après 15, un autre, et à la fin de saison, un bac, quoi. Donc moi je pense que ce sont les mesures qui peuvent amener les arbitres à aller un peu plus loin et à aller un peu plus fort. Maintenant, parlant des sanctions, nous allons toujours sanctionner. Les arbitres doivent être sous pression. Lorsqu'un joueur ne satisfait pas aux attentes d'un coach, il le sanctionne. Et la sanction peut être simplement de te mettre au banc de touche ou de ne pas te mettre dans la liste. Donc les arbitres aussi, eux aussi ont les sanctions. Chez nous on appelle ça le frigo, ça veut dire que tu ne joues pas les matchs. Et je pense que lorsque vous mettez la pression aux arbitres, avec les sanctions, lorsque vous les formez un peu plus et lorsqu'ils sont compétitifs, forcément je pense que le niveau de l'arbitrage sera meilleur. Et la dernière chose, c'est que nous faisons confiance à la jeunesse. Quand je parle de faire confiance à la jeunesse, c'est que nous aussi nous sommes jeunes. Le président nous a fait confiance en tant que jeunes. Le président de la République fait confiance au président Samuel Eto'o en tant que jeune. Je pense que nous aussi nous devons faire confiance à la jeunesse qui peut être encadrée et entourée par des personnes un peu plus expérimentées et un peu plus vieilles qu'elle. Hier par exemple au match de Astre contre Fauvou, nous avons eu l'opportunité de voir un jeune arbitre qui vient de l'Itou. Il a 21 ans. Celui qui va jouer le match de Union contre Gazelle, qui est un gros match, il a aussi 21 ans et je pense qu'il était meilleur arbitre d'élite la saison dernière. Je pense que c'est une bonne aubaine, c'est une bonne chose de montrer à la jeunesse qu'elle peut progresser, mais que surtout elle a la capacité de diriger de grandes choses et surtout de prendre de l'envol, peut-être de prendre le pouvoir dans le monde de l'arbitrage.
Thank you so much, Gando, for that element. Well, just for context, that is obviously Stefan Foko Kamga, president of the Referees Commission. And like you listened, he detailed out the new innovations for this season. He talked about how, I need not come back to what we had last season, which was really marred by different controversial decisions taken by these referees. And he outlines that these, Men in Black will have, there are new innovations for them this season. First of all, they would be obviously given an opportunity to young referees to, oversee these different elite games, and also it would have less referees so they can be really competitive. And last but not the least, training and workshop to always keep them updated. Well, we would have time to discuss about that in other editions because despite, the intense games we've witnessed in Match Day 1 and Match Day 2 of the Elite 1 Championship, there are some teams that actually have highlighted some problems that has to do with refereeing. I talk of Bambutus, the Buddha, in their game against PWG of Bamenza, and we would listen to Coach Akbo Enes of Les Astres that also highlighted or hinted something about that in their game against Dynamo, and we would also hear about that, as we talk about the games. But now let's talk about these games, and we will start with the one that has been ringing in the mouths of football fans in Douala and beyond. Now we talk about Jules Amand, Dynamo de Douala against Les Astres de Douala.
Dynamo est revenu. Dynamo est revenu du stade. Appelez les gens au quartier. Dynamo est venu. Chance, là.
Chance.
It's from Jules Amanko, and one at the 25th second, actually the fastest goal of the season so far. Right up to now, he has the fastest goal of the season, scored at the 21st seconds, with another from the sport. However, Dynamo de Douala got their first Elite One win after so many years. I guess where the goals came from. Lionel Atiba, very good. We saw Lionel Atiba at the 30th minute with Benjamin Luque and also veteran Joseph Momasso. It was a thrilling encounter at the Reunification Stadium. 5 goals, 3 in favor of Dynamo de Douala and 2 for Les Astres de Douala. Well, our listener who had the opportunity to talk to Coach Agbo Enes, and he had this to say after that encounter.
Nous venons prendre 3 points. Malheureusement, on a pris 1. On s'en contente de 1 point. C'est pas.
There's something in football we call match fitness. Just was playing his second match while we were playing our first match.
To that interview, while the technical crew get to look for it, I want to listen to the opinion of the ex-goalkeeper Bem Lupo. Vous avez vu ce match? On dit que ce match de la Real Madrid avait la qualité que le Dynamo nous a montré. Est-ce que vous étiez impressionné? Quelle est votre appréciation avec cette équipe de Dynamo contre les Astres de Douala?
Bon, déjà, vous devez comprendre que Dynamo a des joueurs compétitifs.
Oui.
Ils ont des joueurs matures et ils ont eu le temps de mieux se préparer. Donc, on dit le plus souvent que qui va aller loin doit ménager sa monture. Ce qui fait que sur le système de jeu de Dynamo ne surprend personne parce qu'ils ont un entraîneur qui aime bien faire le jeu. Donc, la Dynamo, je pense que sa victoire, elle est méritée.
Mérité après tant d'années de ne pas jouer et après d'avoir fait un mauvais match contre AS Fortuna, c'était vraiment dur pour eux, mais ils ont finalement eu leur victoire qu'ils attendaient et devant un public magnifique. And we look at the starting lineup, Gilbert. We saw that, in the first game, like I earlier mentioned, we did not have Clément Arrogo on the technical bench due to the late arrival of his license. But this time around, we had him there. How important was he? What important role or that different thing he brought in order to see these sides clinch their first elite victory against another really competitive side, Les Astres?
Only the coaches have their role to play when they stand there, when they're on the touchline. They have 1 or 2 information to dish out to players. Leopold wants to tell me a different story. And when you keep a coach away from his players, when the match is ongoing, it grows difficult for the boys. And that's what happened to Dynamo. They suffered a lot. The absence of Coach Yves Clément Roga in their game against AS Fortuna was a big blow to them. And they had so many good faces in the encounter, which they couldn't concretize because Yves Clément wasn't there to tell them, listen, do this and all those things. And equally, when the coach is there, when he's on the bench or when he gets on the touchline to talk to his players, he knows what to do. There are things he sees, and he can easily proceed with a substitution. And these are things unlocked for the Bonba jobs in their game against Fortuna. And I was even there, and I told one of those watching that game that if Clément Roga, participated in that game, it would have been a different story for the Bonba jobs. They would have won that game. Unfortunately, he wasn't there. You saw his fingerprints when he came up for the second game against Astres of Douala. So early into the encounter, they considered a goal. Many said, it was already rough for the Bonba jobs. I told them, listen, when you have an Yves Clément Roga, when you have players like Etaba, Julien Momasso, these are boys who can, galvanize others and get them rapidly into the game and they do it. You saw what happened when the Bonba jobs considered the goal. Etaba rallied the boys. He called it. They held a little talk, and I said, listen, us won't win this game. Look at what is ongoing. So saying that a trainer hasn't got a seat there, I think it's a big mistake. You see, even then, when the Jose Mourinho's are there, the Jurgen Klopps and the others, when they whisper into the ears of these players, it becomes a different thing. When the match is ongoing, you can proceed, to some tactical and strategic changes, and you get a point. And you can maybe switch from a 4-4-2 where you started to maybe a 3-5-2, switch from a 4-4-2 to a 3-4-1. You do some revisions on the pitch where the game is ongoing, and it yields fruits. So his absence on day one was really noticed, and the management of the Bonba jobs led by President Alphonse Beya, we want to extend some warm words of congratulations for what I'm saying the Bonba jobs doing. Is really growing professional back there. The recruitment and the others, the complicity existing among the players and others. It tells you that Alphonse Beya has really brought in something new in the squad. My only regret is that he's chased out a handful of players who ought to be there. Players who participated enormously for the team to move into the one. I want to talk about players like Kono and the others who really gave in a lot for the squad, who merited at least being there. Gachi is still there playing for the squad, but they've brought a lot of new players, and it gets us to even express some regrets and ask a lot of questions that those who participated at least, did they not take the team to Elite One? Why don't you reward them and the others? Well, the Bonba jobs are so ambitious. When you speak to the management, when you speak to Arafa de Konga, who is in the top management of the team, he will tell you, listen, we are out to win the championship this season. We are out to play the Cotons, the Canons, and the others. We're out to go Africa, and going Africa means you have to get the boys who are fit for Africa. You start with the coach, Yves Clément Aroga, who's doing a splendid job already. I have the Tabaks and the others, the Julien Momasso, and that's when you can really, consolidate that seat, as one who is going Africa.
Talk about going Africa and getting the right players for that. I mean, we've seen Dinamo really active on the transfer market, getting the big boys. En tant qu'ancien joueur aussi, Monsieur Mbem, est-ce que ça ne peut pas créer des frictions? Parce que on se rappelle le match, il y a Momasso qui sort et qui jette son brassard. And isn't it too early for such situations?
C'est vrai, c'est pas un bon geste venant d'un capitaine, mais vous savez, quand le jeu, tellement il avait tellement envie, et il se disait qu'il ne se sent pas prêt à sortir. Mais c'est pas, pour un capitaine, c'est pas un exemple. Parce qu'il y a des enfants aussi qui le regardent derrière, qui vont dire, mais le grand frère a fait quoi comme ça? Mais pourtant, humainement, c'est une personne qui est très bien. Moi, j'ai eu à côtoyer mon match à UMS. Pour vous dire vrai, c'est une personne très humble. Moi, j'ai été surpris et je le comprends parce qu'il était allé dans son match, il ne voulait pas sortir. Et c'est quelqu'un qui aime bien jouer.
Non, tu sais, il y a une situation. Pour l'instant, il y a des gens qui disent que Momasso est vieux, qu'il ne peut plus enchaîner les matchs. Donc, je pense qu'il a voulu prouver le contraire ce jour-là. Okay. Qu'on sache que non, lui, il n'est pas vieux, il peut enchaîner. Et je pense que c'est une erreur. Parce que la saison dernière, avec UMS, Momasso a joué presque tous les matchs. Il était le moteur de l'équipe, il était l'homme qui faisait tout pour cette équipe. Donc, j'ai compris le joueur. Sa sortie, il est bien vrai. Quand vous regardez l'équipe de la Dynamo aujourd'hui, c'est une équipe qui a recruté 6 avant-centres, 6 joueurs de pointe. Vous allez retrouver Kemadjou, vous allez retrouver Lionel Ateba, il y a Tangana Komo qui est là en pointe, il y a encore 2-3 joueurs là. Donc je me dis, c'est une concurrence lutte qu'on aura cette année chez les bonnes badjobs. Et Julien, vous voudrais déjà dire à ceux qui sont là, écoutez, bien que vous soyez là, on m'a remis le brassard et je vais diriger mon équipe au sommet du championnat. Donc, coach, il est hors de question que vous me fassiez sortir, surtout à une période, c'est ça, il faut dire la vérité, Julien Momasso était dans son match. Moi, je n'ai pas compris ce remplacement. Il est bien vrai, les As étaient déjà assommés à 3-1, c'était déjà presque gagné, mais il fallait laisser Julien, qui avait encore beaucoup de choses à prouver ce jour-là. J'ai compris la frustration du joueur, on a tiré sur lui, que ce geste était vilain. Bon ben, c'est un geste vilain, mais un geste qui a quand même montré la frustration du joueur. On peut le comprendre.
Oh, on peut le comprendre. Well, at the tail end, they finally got their 3 points, much awaited victory. Now let's go listen to Coach Yves Clément Aroga and also Lionel Ateba as they express, satisfaction to have finally put a smile on the faces of fans of Le Bon Badiop.
Ça a été travaillé et on a travaillé énormément pour avoir ce genre de résultat.
Prématuré dans les premières minutes, mais tout ça on avait prévu, on s'est dit ça peut arriver qu'on prenne un but, il va falloir réagir. Et on a réagi de la meilleure des façons en marquant et en enchaînant avec 3 buts au compteur. Oui, c'est vrai, c'est le football, ça peut arriver. On peut avoir des moments de faiblesse, mais on a su rester fort jusqu'à la fin et le plus important c'est de prendre les 3 points.
Well, as Yves Clément Roga expressed satisfaction alongside Lionel Atiba, Coach Akbo Enes had a lot to say.
It was a good game by my team, and although we took 3 goals in the first half, and now the second half they came up better than the first half, and we are going to work better and harder to make a better result. Dinamo is a normal team, but you know they were pushed. I don't want to talk a lot.
Dinamo is a normal team, but they were pushed. Vous avez vu regarder le match. Do you think there was any controversial decision, from the referee where they pushed, as Coach Enes, mentioned in the interview?
Personnellement, moi j'ai regardé le match parce que quand on dit les arbitres, je pense pas que sur les 3 buts, les arbitres étaient pour quelque chose.
Ça peut même être des décisions, pas ce qui concerne véritablement le but.
Non, vous comprenez, l'arbitre c'est un humain. L'arbitre c'est un humain. Un humain peut se tromper, ça peut arriver qu'il fasse des mauvaises choses, des mauvaises appréciations. Mais c'est pas parce que intentionnellement il voulait le faire. Donc, moi je pense qu'ils doivent travailler et puis laisser les arbitres de côté. Je me souviens quand nous étions à Lyon Sport, en 2016-2017, le coach Doumbé nous disait, même si l'arbitre fait quoi, ne parle pas à l'arbitre. Si pendant le match tu parles à l'arbitre, il te coupait le salaire. Donc ça veut dire qu'on joue, même si tu fais quoi, nous regardons l'arbitre, à la fin, on rentre. Même que nous gagnons, que nous ayons gagné ou perdu. Donc parfois aussi, nous devons comprendre que les arbitres sont les humains. Un humain peut se tromper, ça arrive.
Refereeing controversies, and that has really been something in Cameroon's football in recent years, that when somebody highlights that this happened, you should take it, with much consideration because you don't know what happened. I mean, they say that because they have a pre-notion. Now, I want to ask, you watched that game. Do you share the same idea as Ben Leopold?
Yeah, I do. I do, sincerely. Coach Enes Agbo is one I respect so much. By the way, he was my teacher back there at GBHS Bamenda, lower seats, up seats. So I respect him so much, and I respect what he does. He's one who's done a lot for football in Cameroon, from Koyi, Marwa, going through of Douala, Victoria Shooting Stars, and the others. I mean, he's the right man at the right place. He even worked with the U20, with the Auxiliary Lions, Rigobert Son and the others. So he's one I respect so much. Having this from him, sincerely, you even saw him. I think he regretted his statement because he didn't go through that statement.
I just think he did not want to, make a controversy out of it, and it's just like they were pushed.
Yeah, so the statement came out not only the way he wanted. He pulled it back, but it was just that it was ready to get. You get the point. So I watched that game just like you did, and I didn't see any refereeing error. Maybe there were 1 or 2 errors that day. The 3 goals scored by Dinamo of Douala, the goal scored by the first goal scored by Lionel Atiba was a good combination from the midfield. The ball was collected by Molo Mustafa Momaso. There was a good combination, Ngona Tiati, and the pass was given to Atiba, who hammered it on. And then the second goal was a defensive mistake from the Astro Douala keeper and his defender. And Luque got that opportunity and got the ball onto the roof. The third one was a beautiful phase, from the defense line moving through the midfield, where Molu collected the ball, played with Ngona Tiati. Tiati got Bawak getting from his back, and then the cross was given, and then Momaso getting a good header. Sincerely, it was wonderful. And then the coach telling us there was maybe he saw 1 or 2 errors. By the way, he was awarded a penalty at the end of the game. I expected the Bonbajo fans to contest that penalty, which was not all that clear. You get the point. So I want to say something only with the with the way the championship is organized. Let us start getting ready to receive complaints from team managers and others about referees and other. Because the championship is not going to be all that long, and every game played is a final for the teams. Yes. When you lose a game, you're in trouble. So there's no team that's going to accept losing a game. Every playing day is going to be very, very complicated, and I wish to use this platform to invite all those who are sending these referees into different stadiums to see how they can mount enough security around these men. You get the point. Let us not get back to what we had last season with these referees suffering from the hands of these men. Today in Europe and all over the world, we are playing with the video assistance referee. It is just to tell you how far FIFA and the others and these big European clubs, European leagues, have gotten the shortcomings of these referees, and that's why they've brought in not only the video assistance referees, but they've gotten even referees that play from the background and others. You get the point? Yes. So in Cameroon, we don't yet have those means, and we beg on club managers and all those involved to spare the errors of our men in black. They are doing a lot. I want to equally say encourage Mr. Foko Kamga Stefan, who's doing a wonderful job. He's been spending sleepless nights. This one who owns a secondary school, and he's not even got time to run his business. He owns an academy. He's not got time to do that, because you find him today in Garoua training referees. Do you know there's an academy in Cameroon that trains referees? You find him in Yaoundé, all over the players doing the job. And when I listened to President Samuel Eto'o in Garoua, he said, Stéphane, écoute, le jour où je t'ai confié cette commission, je t'ai confié une partie de mes pouvoirs. So Stéphane has on his arms, on his shoulders, that responsibility, the huge responsibility of taking, this part of it all to success. And it's not easy with team managers who go complaining at the least error committed by these men in black. As you said, they are human beings, and let's try to spare their errors and see how we can encourage them to do the job.
Yeah, talk about encouraging people to do the job. Well, despite the numerous encouragements, given by PWD's fans too, the Apakwa boys, unfortunately, this side lost to Colombe. They faced a 0-2 thrashing from Canon Sportif de Yaoundé. They faced a 0-2 thrashing at the Guayaquil Stadium on Monday. It was an intense game, and the PWD unfortunately could not replicate their first win. Remember, they defeated Bamutus de Buda in Buda 1-0, courtesy a goal by Blaise Difortu, but unfortunately this side could not withstand the heavyweights Canon Sportif. Canon, by the way, is the only team to have registered 2 wins in 2 outings. Talk about Canon Sportif and how brilliant they have been. I'll move over to you. What's your presentation?
Thomas Olivier Belibi, je suis le média officiel du...
Monsieur Mbem, vous avez eu à regarder ce match. Comment vous avez apprécié les performances des 2 équipes?
Moi, je pense que le Canon de Yaoundé, cette saison, a un très bon effectif de peu de temps pour moi, parce que enchaîner 2 matchs de victoire dans ce championnat, ce n'est pas facile. Et maintenant, il faut aussi comprendre que PWD a perdu des joueurs qui n'ont pas pu remplacer. Ils ont perdu Tabawak, ils ont perdu Ateba, ils ont perdu l'attaque gauche d'avion.
Oui.
Ils n'ont pas pu les remplacer. Donc, ce qui fait que je pense qu'ils ne font que payer ce qu'ils méritent. Parce que si tu perds des joueurs, un attaquant comme Ateba et que tu ne le remplaces pas, je ne pense pas que tu pourras trouver un attaquant comme Ateba. Blaise, nous connaissons tous les qualités de Blaise. Blaise, c'est un ancien gardien de but qui se reconvertit en attaquant. Donc ça veut dire que c'est 2 attaquants différents.
Mais ça ne veut pas dire que les nouveaux recrues ne font pas leur travail. On a eu à voir, Mark Ojong that made his return to the top flight competition and played for PWD yesterday. Unfortunately, they did not get the win. You look at Mark Ojong, how do you rate his performance?
Mark Ojong, he started the game on the bench. he got in. You know, that was his first game, and he didn't have enough time to train with the squad. Remember, before the Cameroon Cup final, he wasn't there. He just came in after the Cup final. So we need to get him trained, you know, with the boys for so long, so that they can get to harmonize their playing styles. You get the point. So we couldn't rate him in that game yesterday against Canovia only. It was complicated for him. The Bako boys have lost a lot. You get the point. From, you know, they lost 2 goalkeepers.
You know, teams lose a lot.
It's true, but
they're not the only one.
When you lose even those who are substitutes, how do you replace them? You get the point. You know, it's true. People are saying they've got 56 million francs. Abunde's got 56 million francs. He can even go Africa and scout for players and bring them. But at what time? It's already too late to get the good players and let them play for the Bako boys. Well, we can only go crying over spilled milk for now, because we won't have the boys we want. But if we can have the Ojongs who are coming in now to reinforce with the Siganos who are there, the Josh Tankos and the others, Kalistos, Sangu, Kainsa, Aruna and the others, I think it's going to help the squad. When KJ was on the bench, rolling the affairs from that angle, we should pray in the first place for, you know, a place in the Little One next season. Because telling you that the Bako boys will go for a title this season, we're not sincere to ourselves. I don't see the squad going for a title, you know.
Really?
Yeah, sincerely, we've not got the boys. Mark Ojong is there.
Même avec le nouveau entraîneur de K is not
going to be a magician. He's still going to be a magician when he's not got the right boys. What I want to think is that I spoke with the Tabak and praised that Abunde didn't expect that. He didn't expect, you know, these players to move out massively. He expected 1 or 2, 3 players to leave, but he didn't expect even the Ekai Bongers were there, you know, the Nguang Brand, Nyaba and the others were there to leave so swiftly. He expected 1 or 2 players to leave and others. And I equally understood one thing. When you're a manager, Oni, you have to be close to the players, especially the key players. And that's where Alphonse Bey of Dynamo of Douala is succeeding. When I spoke with Deta Bawak, he told me, listen, my friendship with Beya, he told me my friendship with Beya started a long time ago, and today with Beya is more of a friend speaking to a friend, and that's why things are moving. You get the point. So when you are a manager, at a certain point you become a friend to the players, and when you become a friend to the players, it means you give them that listening ear at that right time, and you get the right things. You can't be in a team, you can't have a player of a Taba's caliber. If you're not at Teba, I don't listen to them. It is out of question. You don't give them the same treatment you give to, you know, to maybe to a Musandre and the others. We don't expect that in teams, but they are key players. Yo will tell you that before a game, while he was still a young sport, Dube will also tell him, yo, please, Tomben Gomer, Domoro and the others, guys, listen, just know we are counting on you, and that's it. And they are the ones now to mobilize the troops and tell them, listen, if there's anything here, you guys know that we have to be in trouble. We have to be the ones, you know. That's where he failed. And this error should be corrected so fast if they want the Abako boys to go places in this championship. As I told you earlier, it's going to be a complicated championship because, you know, you are 9 in a group. It means you have 16 matches to play to have a seat in the League One. That's the first challenge. You are 9 in a group. You have 16 matches to play to get a seat for the playoffs and the others. You are 9 in the group. You have that challenge, you know, to have players who are not injured. Mark you, if you have a player like Ojong who is injured, you're in trouble. You get a point. But for a team like Dynamo of Douala, if Kemaju is injured, you can count on Ateba. If Ateba is injured, you can count on Atanganakomo. If Ateba is injured, you can count on. That's what football is all about. Having, you know, in every wing, a key substitute player who does the job in the absence of the other. And the Bako boys have not got that. When Samin is absent, who do you count on? Joy is absent, who do you count on? Beruno Derek is absent, who do you count on? And others. So it's really difficult, and a lot has to be done. Let's just keep our fingers crossed and expect that the Bako boys will not, you know, get drowned into the salty waters of Elite One.
Talk about salty waters, you also mentioned really strong points that they might not be finishers finalists in this season looking at their start. And I really want to get your own opinion looking at this team, malgré le fait qu'ils ont perdu des énormes noms ou des, you know, joueurs clés. Est-ce que ça peut, quelque chose ne peut pas changer? On le voit parmi les 4 finalistes. Monsieur Bemturi, vous riez juste. You're just laughing.
Vous savez, il a dit un point très important. Ça veut dire que si tu as un Itabawak dans ton équipe et qui part, il faut être en mesure de remplacer. Même si il n'a pas le niveau de Itabawak, il peut au moins assurer Mais maintenant, Pi a perdu près de 6 joueurs cadres, et 6 titulaires, y compris le coach, y compris les 2 gardiens.
Oui.
C'est pas évident. Donc c'est une équipe qui sont encore en train de reconstruire. Parce que je pense que c'était sa 2e année dans cette équipe.
La première.
La première année. Bon. Ils avaient déjà cette cohésion parce que tout le monde savait qu'ils vont être là la saison prochaine. C'est pas évident de perdre des cadres. Et puis, je vais vous prendre un exemple.
Oui.
Young Sport a perdu près de 7 joueurs l'année où je suis parti. Et après ça, depuis ce temps,
c'est compliqué aujourd'hui.
C'est comme ça. Ça veut dire que si le joueur part, il faut être en mesure de remplacer. C'est pour ça qu'on dit qu'on achète les joueurs compétitifs. C'est pour ça que Dynamo n'a pas de problème. Parce que Dynamo, à chaque poste, au moins 3 joueurs. Si Bawa n'est pas là aujourd'hui, Chiche peut jouer. Si Ngonga n'est pas là, Chiche peut jouer. C'est comme ça. Ils ont au moins, vous comprenez, on parle de 9 attaquants.
Exactement. Et aujourd'hui, il y a Agné qui n'est pas encore là.
Il n'est pas encore là. Somban joue. Si Somban n'est pas là aujourd'hui, Agné va jouer. Agné qui est un bon gardien. Donc vous comprenez pourquoi on veut la compétitivité au poste. Donc c'est comme ça.
Et c'est une politique que PW avait avant. Je ne comprends pas parce que je me rappelle l'année où PW était champion. On avait une bonne brochette de joueurs. Et dès qu'ils sont partis, on a eu l'opportunité de remplacer avec les Lionel Ateba, les Tabawa, les Njoya et autres qui sont arrivés. Mais je ne comprends pas comment, cette année, cette saison, ils ont perdu plus de 13 joueurs. 13 joueurs, les Eka et Bongé, tous ces gars, on ne sait pas où ils sont, tout ça. Ça veut dire qu'il y a peut-être quelque chose qu'on ne comprend pas.
Non, il y a un problème.
On espère que l'équipe va vraiment se remettre sur les rails.
Il y a un problème. Quand une équipe perd déjà plus de ses 5 cadres, c'est qu'il y a un problème dans l'équipe. Quand une équipe perd déjà ses cadres, ça veut dire qu'il y a un problème. Même si on ne connaît pas le problème à l'interne. Il y a un problème.
Et là, quand tu vois, la colonne vertébrale de cette équipe est à Dynamo de Douala. Ça veut dire qu'il y a peut-être une révolution dans l'équipe. Quand vous regardez, il y a Eta qui est à Dynamo, il y a Somban qui est à Dynamo, il y a Molou qui est à Dynamo, il y a Ateba qui est à Dynamo.
Et tous sont titulaires.
Ça veut dire les gars peut-être ne voulaient pas partir, mais le management, la politique de la maison a amené les gars à dire écoutez, nous sommes bien ici. Alors, c'est vraiment important. Et comme Eta nous a dit qu'il est l'ami de Béa, il est l'ami parce que c'est un grand frère qui lui a apporté un plus. Il est donc question qu'il apporte son soutien à son ami en venant avec une bonne. Et aujourd'hui, Dynamo ne regrette pas d'avoir dans son équipe un gars comme Moulou qui t'a un gros travail de terrain, un gars comme Ladonette Ateba, c'est un bijou pour une équipe sincèrement. Quand on voit un gars comme Ateba.
Il a pas tout à l'heure de la colonne vertébrale. Tous sont titulaires. Tous sont titulaires à la Dynamo. Ça ne ment pas. Ateba est titulaire, Somba est titulaire, Moulou est titulaire et Bawa, les 4 sont titulaires. Le gardien Karim Bello est titulaire au canon. Ça ne ment pas. Mais ça veut dire qu'en interne, il y a un problème.
Well, I guess PWG will have to, do a retrospect, get to, look at their internal affairs and make sure everything is back on track. So this team can also, be part of the contenders for the 2023-2024 season of the MTN Elite 1 Championship. We remain in Yaoundé where we talk about Colombe Sportive against Union Sportive de Douala. A highly contested match, very tough. Union that was beaten by Gazelle in Douala, and Colombe that unfortunately failed to clinch a victory against Canon Sportif, falling by 1-2 in match day 1. These sides were hungry for victory. And we saw, Colombe take the lead with Anuaze, and Pondibai will come back to, equalize and make sure the score ends at 1 tie for both sides. You look at this game, you look at Colombe that has been really competitive. They were semi-finalists in the just ended Cameroon Cup, and they have gotten new players as well. Regardless of everything people say, Colombe has gotten new players, and they were one of, pre-season, I heard so many people were really counting on Colombe Sportive, looking forward to what they will do. But it's 2 games and without a win. That is over 12 games unbeaten run in the league. Sorry, unwinning run, not unbeaten. Unwinning run in the league. Look at this. What does that tell you about this side?
You know, when you have a professional side like Column of Jalobo, when you have a side where everybody gets to work, you have a side where the elites of the Jalobo are standing of the south. It's not an issue of. At one point they said it was Column du Sud. That's Column of the South region. That they were like the ambassadors. They were like the flag bearers of the South region. When you have a team of that caliber, where everybody puts in, what he knows, for the team to move ahead, they can only move ahead. Colombe last season was that side that had a handful of good players. You could talk of the Ngongangs and the others who were there. The Sule was there, Four was there. Every wing you had at least 2 players, when competing, and you get the point. So you had Anisim Barwafo who started there, but they were just unfortunate that things didn't move on the way they wanted. But there was that catch up. I love the Cameroon Cup where they were, eliminated at the semi-final. We all know that the semi-final elimination wasn't, that PO wasn't well swallowed by the Column side because then there were some grains of injustice, by the referees. That penalty that was stopped by Suleiman, who was disallowed by Nupu Evis and others. You get the point. So this time around, they want to go places. And when I look at the squad, I think they can go places. It is true that the error they could be having for now is having scored only a single point in 4 out of 6 in 2 outings. It's understood that you can't play a Kano of Yaoundé and you expect to usually have a ride over them. You can't play Union of Douala and you expect. So these are 2 tough matches they've played already. Let's hope that the Jalobo side is going to get on the rails and deliver the goods to the satisfaction of the sons and daughters of the South region, especially those of the Jalobo, because they really count on them so much. Only football is not, we said equal like Union of Douala. I want to talk about that because you can't keep them away. The Nasara Kamakais, I don't know the policy they're implementing. I'm confused about it. When you go recruiting players like Rostam Mukap, for the past 2 seasons, you don't have much to talk about him. Mukap left Bamuto Sabuda. By then he wasn't really. It's true, he was a key player. But his performances were usually contested by the fans there, and the members who was there. He went to Fovazu. We didn't hear much about him back there. And then you bring him into Union of Douala, counting on him. Players like Achom and the others. Joel Patton coming from an injury and all those things. So, sincerely speaking, Union of Douala ought to be doing what Dinamo of Douala are doing today. That is getting key players. We know the best players of the championship. Going for the best. Get them there and do the job. You get the point. But it looks like Inyong is scared of running closer to these players, proposing a contract to them. Is it that Ngasapi and the others were there, President Kemonyo and the others were there, do not have enough funds to go for the best players? Is it that of Douala still have that policy of the days of Coach Diallo Sewe, where we go for that academy, the secondary school boys, we groom them and give them to clubs and make money? These are some of the things we're asking ourselves. The Nasara Kamakais should be able to explain to their fans, because I was there and Bapede, you were there. You also how they went back home sad. They came from New Bell and others because they explained to them, they told them that
it wasn't a flamboyant performance.
You imagine only that you leave your home on a Wednesday, you abandon your job and others because you're coming to watch your team play and your team is beaten in an unconvincing way. Because at least at times you're beaten, but you're convinced that the boys had a good game, all those things. So Gazelle coming from Garwa, a team that landed 2 days, a few hours before the game, and they came to pick points, all 3 points against Union Douala. It was a bitter pill to be swallowed by the Nasara fans. And the draw game against Colombe maybe is going to console them. And we hope that the next game, Jenny Ngengom and others were there. And Jam Laurent, we are told, is walking there in the dark rooms for Nasara Kamakais. We hope they're really going to make the fans proud, take Nasara to the level they deserved.
Well, one last question on Union and Colombe Sportive and Union, and I want to ask you, Mbem, it's with regards to, this side. I mean, I watched the game at the Bapilipe Stadium, and one thing I would obviously take back home is how aggressive their fans can be. En tant que joueur, vous êtes en train de jouer et vous comprenez les fans qui disent sortez ce joueur du terrain, je veux pas lui voir. Parce que it was so rampant and very loud. Même quand il partait au vestiaire, tu vois, toi, tu entres, tu fais quoi? I mean, how can these comments, won't they have an impact?
Non, je vais...
Sur un joueur?
ONI, je vais te dire, les équipes mythiques sont comme ça. Les équipes mythiques sont comme ça. Et quand tu t'aventures d'aller jouer dans une équipe mythique, tu dois t'attendre. Moi, j'ai eu ça à Bamboutos. Après. C'était face à Union. Union nous a mené 2-0 après, nous avons égalisé. Quand ils sortaient des vestiaires, les supporters me disent que mais tu fais quoi au stade? Tu as même fait la licence dans cette équipe. C'est normal. Mais maintenant, c'est là où on te dit tu dois te transcender, tu ne regardes pas ça. Tu es là pour ta carrière. Les supporters sont les supporters, tu t'en fous d'eux. Parce que le seul qui te donne les directives au stade, c'est le coach. Si le coach t'a choisi, ça veut dire que tu mérites. Mais maintenant, il faut faire plaisir à l'entraîneur. Parce que je ne pense pas qu'un joueur qui entre dans le stade, il veut mal jouer. Généralement, je ne juge pas un joueur. Parce que je sais ce que le joueur endure. Donc ça veut dire que le joueur n'a pas envie de mal jouer. Peut-être aussi, généralement, ils sont à la forme du jour. Peut-être que ça n'a pas donné. Mais le supporter ne comprend pas ça. Le supporter, c'est un support. Il veut le résultat. Mais maintenant, si c'est un technicien qui parle comme ça, c'est là où ça cause problème. Le supporter là, il ne sait pas si tu vas manger ou pas. Il ne sait pas. Pour lui, c'est la victoire.
Oui, c'est le résultat. Et pour clôturer, Colombe et Union va affronter Bamboutos qui a gagné Gazelle à domicile 2-0. Tu vois cette équipe jouer, qu'est-ce que ça te dit de ce match? Est-ce que ça serait un peu une victoire facile pour Bamboutos ou on va voir notre niveau, notre visage de Union sportive? Parce que jusque-là, ils sont pas encore entrés dans la compétition. Donc, qu'est-ce que tu vois de cette affiche?
Personnellement, moi, je souhaiterais que Bamboutos gagne.
Ah, tant que ex-Bamboutos.
Personnellement.
Vous êtes ici à Douala, hein?
Non, il y a pas. En fait, je suis un supporter de Bamboutos.
Oui.
Bon, maintenant, ça va dépendre. Ce jour, ça va dépendre. Comme vous avez dit tout à l'heure, les championnats ne sont pas encore entrés dans le championnat. Comme vous savez que c'est un derby.
Oui.
C'est d'abord un derby où aucun ne peut pas accepter de perdre ce derby. Donc je pense que ce jour, on va maintenant voir un beau visage d'union. Et dommage qu'ils auront affaire à Bamboutos. Parce que Bamboutos vient avec un état d'esprit bien haut.
Un état d'esprit bien haut, mais c'est quand même les Kamakai Nassara and anything can change. Well, we'll just look at quick, result in Pool A before we march down to Pool B. We talk about Aigle Royal de la Ménois. Unfortunately for them, it's 2 losses in 2 outings as they fell into the hands of AS Fortuna de Fou, losing by 0-1. Well, we had also Canon Sportif that has been talked about. Bamboutos de Bouddha that defeated Gazelle FA by 2-0. And it was such an amazing game. And we talk about Pool B. Pool B has been quite interesting. We have Coton Sport de Garoua against Victoria United. A highly contested game. Title holders, newcomers, played at really interesting or saturated stadium back there in Garoua. Well, let's look at these highlights. We'll come back and discuss about this game.
Attention, le ballon dans les airs, sinon, regardez là, le ballon, regardez sur Tonga qui va revenir, c'est dedans, c'est dedans.
Well, you've seen a really green and yellowified stadium, all in support of Cotton Sport de Garoua, and it's Agada George Naftali's, strike that hits the crossbar and falls just after the line. That actually made a difference for Cotton Sport of Garoua. Well, before we talk about this game, I also want to say it's important, it's good to see that players, especially from Elite 2, are actually shining. I talk about Kachi Boris that scored his first Elite goal with Bambutus de Buda in their 2-0 win over Gazelle FA. Now back to this encounter. I mean, we're watching, while watching this highlight, there's a part where you said it's a penalty, but we'll come back. We'll come back to that because Coach Guy Kamgia, coach of Victoria United, said also that there were some decisions he really did not understand by the referee after that game. Well, let's go listen to his post-match reaction.
It's a wonderful game. We didn't minimize the opponent. We did our best to make sure we carried the day, but unfortunately it was not the same. So we keep remaining focused for the next game.
Malgré, c'est vrai que pour un match de football, pour un très bon match de football, tous les parties doivent bien se comporter, doivent bien faire le travail. Aujourd'hui, vous avez vu le ballon tape la base transversale, ça ressort. Et puis il y a eu trop de petites erreurs de la part d'arbitrage. Mais le problème n'est pas là, malgré tout ça, on aurait pu marquer. Mais je pense qu'on a péché devant le but. On a fait preuve de gamin, on fait preuve de naïveté devant le but. Nous allons rentrer, travailler plus avantage devant le but pour essayer de concrétiser à la prochaine fois ces multiples occasions qu'on a eues. Mais vivement que tous les parties concernées dans un match de football fassent le travail. On ne peut pas avoir déjà un joueur avant le match, on vient nous dire qu'il ne peut pas jouer, alors que le joueur est tout machin licence. On nous fait refroidir les enfants dans la zone mise comme ça là. Et ensuite on engage au match et puis elle n'est pas bien dirigée, trop de petits contretemps. Mais comme je disais tantôt, on aurait pu faire quelque chose, on aurait pu marquer 1 ou 2 buts, ça devait surprendre personne, comme vous-même vous l'avez dit qu'on a produit du jeu, on a une équipe joueuse. Mais on va essayer de travailler plus l'avantage pour corriger nos occasions devant le but.
Un match mal dirigé, is that what you think, looking at that situation where you thought or you believe it's a penalty?
Only I told you earlier, I won't want to be in the shoes of those who criticize referees, because as I said, they are human beings and they are open to errors. You get the point? It's true. I saw something like a penalty, and maybe the referees appreciated, had a way of appreciating it.
He was really close to the action.
Yeah, you get the point. Sometimes there's some criteria they put in place to appreciate 1 or 2 decisions, but let's avoid talking about referees. You get the point.
Okay.
And as I told you, this season at the championship, we shall have a lot of complaints about referees. We shall receive a lot of complaints because losing, nobody wants to lose a game. When you lose a game, you get to the bottom of it. When you win, you get top. You get the point. So I think a seminar should be held. Maybe after the first round of the championship, the CTFP should hold a seminar, with the different clubs, representative of supporters club and others, talk to them about referees that listen. We're still in a world where we can't offer to you guys a video assistance for free to do the job. We simply have to count on our men in black, give them that, that trust to do the job. Errors coming from them, should be spared and others. I think no referee wants to go and collect money and do whatsoever we think to help the club win a game. No, I don't think they've got to do it, because when you look at what is going on with the job being done by the refereeing commission led by Mr. Kamga Foko Stefan, mentally, psychologically and others, a lot of work is being done for these referees to know that when they're coming to handle games, they're coming to handle games of clubs that have spent at least a week preparing. A team like Victoria United jetted into Garoua through a Cameco flight. It must have cost them a lot of money to get to Garoua and back. And when they do that and they come and they are frustrated by decisions of the referee, it is not good. And I don't think any referee wants to frustrate a team that's putting a lot to win a game. No. Maybe an error from the referee, yes, but getting deep into it, that the referee wants to frustrate you, I don't think so. So let us keep on sparing their errors and encouraging them to move ahead.
You talked about video assistant referee. We've seen really mini tournaments here and there that have used that. So I think it's not that much of expensive for the federation to put that in place? Because, I want to actually reason from the position of these coaches and these players where, we've had instances where referees bet on games.
Exactly.
You see?
Yeah.
So it's a system. It says it takes a long time to build trust, and in a few minutes you can just break that trust. And so maybe they still have that fear. Well, no matter how good you are as a referee, you might still, get to compromise and all of that. So maybe a video assistant referee will put an end to all of this.
Let me come back to that video assistant referee stuff. We in Cameroon, we were about setting that up. We got the experience from the Northwest Regional League. They had something, they simulated something, and it was interesting. But just that CAF has, its principles and some regulations for the video assistant referee to be set up. Going in for something local for a league, mark you, our football is controlled by CAF and FIFA. I don't think FIFA will accept it. We need to get the norms, get the...
We're going towards professionalism, so we should not even go for something local.
We need to set up what it takes for a video assistant referee. That is, set up, the required instruments and the trained officials for that before CAF can validate. So it's something like setting up, maybe a little TV set or whatever, do some connections and get, some replays. And no, I don't think so. So it is all about this. The procedure is quite long, and it's not easy for us to have that for now. But I think the FA is doing some works towards that, and in the days ahead we're going to have that. But let's spare the errors from the referees, the human beings, and dear coaches, dear players. Leopold told you earlier that back in the days at Young Sports coaching members was to tell them, listen guys, when you get in there, know what offered to the referee.
Ok. Well, vous avez beaucoup parlé sur la dynamo et le recrutement et la compétence. On a aussi une nouvelle équipe dans ce ligue ou dans Elite One qui est Victoria United. Ils ont fait un beau travail à l'ouverture contre Feu Vazu. 2-0 contre Richmond J. Mais malheureusement, ils n'ont pas pu reproduire ce beau travail contre le Coton Sport. Qu'est-ce que tu penses de cette équipe Victoria United? Parce que c'est un a strong contender also for the league title this season.
Non, vous savez, c'est une équipe qui m'a beaucoup marqué en Elite 2. Ouais. Donc le président est beaucoup ambitieux. Et ils sont venus en première division avec des ambitions d'être champions. Mais maintenant, est-ce qu'ils pourront être champions? Parce que pour être champion, tu dois taper tes adversaires directs. C'est ça qu'on appelle être champion. Donc maintenant, je pense qu'avec le travail, ils ont une équipe joueuse, ils ont une équipe jeune, et je pense qu'ils vont faire beaucoup de choses, de bonnes choses dans ce championnat.
On va voir, ils vont faire beaucoup de choses. I mean, their next game will be at home, so it will be interesting to see them, play in front of home crowd after traveling to Yaoundé, to Garoua. It will be nice to see them, display in front of home crowd. Well, in order to put an end to this game, that is Coton Sport de Garoua against Victoria United, let's listen to Coach Daniel Briad that expresses a satisfaction over this team's win. Remember, in their first game, they could not find the back of the net, and this time around they did. Let's go listen to him.
Et concrètement par rapport au contenu du match, c'est la première mi-temps où on a été le plus en dangereux sur les occasions adverses, puisqu'ils ont deux belles actions de concrétiser, de revenir au score. En seconde mi-temps, c'était un peu plus laborieux, mais les garçons, ils ont fait preuve de beaucoup plus de maturité, de gestion, donc dans le contenu du match. Donc beaucoup de solidarité de la part des joueurs qui ont fait preuve dans la première période, beaucoup d'investissement, beaucoup de dynamisme offensif qui aurait dû être concrétisé par un but supplémentaire. Et puis la seconde mi-temps a été gérée, on va dire, avec plus de maîtrise de la part de nos leaders d'équipe défensifs.
On a constaté beaucoup de changements dans la construction des 11 entrants cet après-midi.
Oui, il faut changer. On a un effectif qui est de 27-28 joueurs. À partir de là, il y a certains garçons qui ne sont pas considérés comme des remplaçants, ils sont considérés comme des titulaires, mais on doit en aligner que 11, et des titulaires, on en a pratiquement 20, 22, donc à un moment, la concurrence elle est là, et c'est tant mieux pour la production de l'équipe.
On a senti que les joueurs étaient déterminés cet après-midi.
énormément déterminés. Ils avaient à cœur de vous montrer qu'ils n'ont pas gagné le trophée des champions pour rien. Et que le dernier match contre Renard, il nous manquait beaucoup d'énergie dans le moteur. On avait laissé beaucoup d'énergie sur le match et puis le match des trophées, puis sur le voyage. Donc là, ils sont en train de se refaire la santé. Donc tant mieux, ils avaient beaucoup plus d'essence dans le moteur en première mi-temps.
Merci, bon suite, coach.
Merci à vous.
Le match le match dernier, mais il fallait qu'on montre la victoire, d'accord, on est chez nous.
On a senti que vous étiez motivé cet après-midi. Pourquoi cette motivation?
Non, c'est juste on voulait seulement montrer aux supporters que nous sommes là et on va aller au bout.
Listen to these guys, Coton Sport de Garoua. You know, it was really a tough game against Stade de Rina, but fortunately for them, they were able to, you know, how can I say it, meet up in day 2 against newcomers and one of the contenders for the league title, Victoria United. Well, talk about Stade de Rina. This team actually defeated, you know, Stade de Rina was actually a good side against Feu Vazou. They actually got their first win of the season. Now on 4 points, Randy Gonge was on target for this side as they saw off Feu Vazou by 1-0. Feu Vazou that is now on a 2-goal winless. Unfortunately, they lost to, you know, Victoria United by 1-0 in the opener, and now to Stade de Rina by 2-1. Victoria United in the opener, and now they've lost by 0-1 to Stade de Rina. Now, we talk about another fixture, and at this time we go to Yaoundé, where we look at Young Sports Academy against Apejes de Fou. Remember, Young Sports Academy was out in match day 1, but they actually made a comeback in match day 2, and we saw Chindo John Bosco on target for this side as they shared points with Apejes de Fou. It was actually a really tight game, but the coach actually highlighted that the goalkeeper was actually not, it wasn't concentrating when that equalizer came in. Let's go listen to him. Or listen to the coach of Young Sports Academy as he explains what exactly went wrong. Young Sports already have 3 points in the bag. Unfortunately, lost it at the dying minute.
There's something in football we call match fitness. Apejes was playing his second match while we were playing our first match. So Apejes was already having the temperature of the competition. So our first match, so the guys, I think during the last 25 minutes, they were not having enough gas. That's why we considered the goal. Due to also lack of concentration of my goalkeeper, who was not attentive because he has been standing on the goal for about 10 minutes without touching the ball. And suddenly, it's a surprise shot. He did not help us there, but we are going to do everything to work on that, correct all our mistakes to see that in the second game we can have the 3 points. So we insist on our players to be more focused, be more attentive and play simple because, as I said, it's a team that started their physical preparation, started the preparations generally late. We started late, 2 weeks from the game. We were done those 2 weeks of preparation. So we are going to stay focused, concentrate, and we tell our supporters that they should believe in us. It's a young team, and the much that are going to show to the supporters and are going to give us victory.
Who was better placed to answer things that have to do with goalkeepers than you, Lupo? You know, best goalkeeper in 2016. And like Deacon Bless, coach of Young Sports Academy, highlighted, son gardien de but n'était pas concentré. I mean, he had not touched the ball for 10 minutes. En tant que gardien, quand tu n'as pas, you know, you're not put on the hot seat where you have to save goals, how do you keep yourself concentrated in the game so you don't lose focus?
Non, tu dois lire le match, tu dois jouer. Quand on dit souvent, le plus souvent on dit, le gardien est plus concentré quand il n'a pas de ballon. Quand tu ne touches pas les actes, quand tu ne participes pas, quand le ballon ne vient pas dans les goals, tu es plus concentré parce qu'à la moindre erreur, tu peux encaisser. Donc, d'une part, je vais le comprendre, je vais aussi comprendre la frustration du coach. Qui disent que c'est parce que le gardien a fait 10 minutes sans toucher le ballon et puis il a encaissé. Mais maintenant, il faut savoir si le gardien, est-ce qu'il était concentré. C'est ça. Parce que le plus dur, c'est maintenir le score d'1-0. Hein. Oui. Parce qu'à n'importe quel moment, on peut égaliser. Et là, maintenant, comme moi, généralement, je ne parle pas trop des gardiens, je ne critique pas les gardiens. Parce que c'est un poste qui est d'abord trop ingrat. Parce que même si tu touchais un bras, on va dire que tu pouvais, et puis on va commencer à dire qu'il pouvait, il n'était pas concentré.
Oui.
Et donc, je dirais au gardien du 11 Sport de laver ce qu'il a fait au prochain match.
Okay. Well, let's listen to John Bosco as he also tells us about, this start, that it was quite tough for them against Apajeston Food.
Well, the game of today wasn't a bad game, but it's not easy. We were out of form, so we thank God for the 1 point of today. And not like it's lack of concentration. So in football, when you make a mistake, ça va payer cash down, ça va payer. So well, for our upcoming game, we just have to keep working because there's no magic in football. When you work hard, you have the results. So we just have to keep working for our upcoming game. Thank you.
Ok.
Vous comprenez? La concentration, c'est le travail. Ça veut dire si tu es à la maison, tu as l'habitude de blaguer. Aux entraînements, tu as l'habitude de blaguer. Même en match, tu vas blaguer. Ça veut dire quand tu vas aux entraînements, tu te focalises sur l'entraînement. Le match, c'est 90 minutes. Je vais toujours revenir avec Père son âme, le code Bimi. Quand j'étais à Bamboutou, il me disait joue-moi les 90 minutes, après le reste, si tu veux, tu fais ce que tu veux. Donc ça veut dire que joue-moi les 90 minutes. Je veux que tu sois concentré 90 minutes plus. Après les 90 minutes, si tu veux, tu t'envoles, tu fais, mais tu m'aurais donné la victoire. Et je pense que il parle de concentration avant d'arriver dans les goals. Moi, j'ai dit toujours aux joueurs que le ballon avant d'arriver sur le gardien, ça traverse aussi les joueurs. Ça veut dire que si vous accusez le gardien d'être déconcentré, ça veut dire que même les joueurs
sont déconcentrés.
Oui.
Well, the question was, we always hear after every game, they say it's lack of concentration. I mean, don't they? Is concentration taught in school? We're tired of hearing that. But, that's more clarity that you've given there, Leopold. Now, let's listen to Coach Bilon-Pierre Cyril as he tells us, the team's preparations and their ambitions for their upcoming game.
Le match est plié. D'être un peu plus juste pendant la deuxième période et puis on a pu marquer un but finalement. Bon, on est un peu déçu quand même. C'est le championnat. On n'a pas perdu. On aurait pu gagner la première journée, on n'a pas fait. Bon, on pense que la victoire n'est pas loin.
La victoire n'est pas loin, and we wish them all the best ahead of their upcoming game. We talk about another fixture right here before we do a little projection to the day one, and that is the game Avion Academy against Fofu Football Club de Baham, contested right here at the Reunification Stadium in Douala. Avion that unfortunately missed out of their opener with UMS of Loom due to licenses issues. UMS of Loom showed up with just 13 licensed players, and they were demanded to show the rest, but they said it had not yet been produced and it was still to be updated. And around the game after that was supposed to start around 2:30 was postponed before being cancelled, and we're still to know if that game will be played at all or the 3 points will be attributed to Avion. But Avion did meet with Fofu de Baham and they shared spoils at the Reunification Stadium, 1-1 tie. We've seen Fofu play different games, especially after the Cameroon Cup, after winning that. But, we've not seen Fofu replicate their performance at the Cameroon Cup. We've seen them play, the Super Cup against Coton Sport. They've played their first match, second match against first match against Apajes. But we've not seen Fofu that we knew in the Cameroon Cup. What explains that?
I think they in the same situation like Peter Bamena, where they lost a handful of players. The captain left, many other players left, and Webb also came in with 1 or 2 new players. It's true that he brought in very good players, Hansi Mbappe Müller. There's also this guy, Ikpemi and others who are very good players doing the job. It's all about getting them used to playing together. When that's going to happen, I think you have a very good oversight. The game they played against Avion of Douala, Avion had very good players. When you have a guy like Ngonga, or you have a guy like forgotten the name, he was with us last time, Chio. When you have players, Aranenzi wasn't present that day. Sincerely, it was the Avion side that surprised us a lot. We didn't expect that performance from them, but it was a very good side. You get the point. So for
if you listen to Pierre Batamak, the president, he was really confident. I am here to show you what I have against UMS.
Exactly. Remember, he told you. He said UMS of Lom didn't want to play the game because they knew he had boys to bring them down. They shied away from that game. So Avion is a side that's going to produce a lot of good things this season. Let's hope, let's count on them. And this something I want to praise President Batamak. He's that president who knows how to recruit players. In his club, he's the one recruiting. David Gambe is there and others were there. Jean-Pierre Mout are there. But Batamak is the one doing the recruitment for Avion Academy. And that's why each time he will tell you, listen, take out this player, bring in this player. I've seen him doing that. Where he's asked the coach to take out the player and bring in another player, and the player coming in does a good job. So sincerely, it's true that he's not the technician.
That's what I want to say.
But most of the times, he has the eyes. He's been there for so long, and he has a little experience. Giving one or two advices to his coaches and other things, and they're doing it. So football Bam are suffering from that, and I know that they're going to bounce back strongly. When you have a Sango Emmanuel Dubebos on your bench, when you have a Ladonette come them as president that stands behind you financially, no mark you go places. So there's just no doubt it's true. They are just spending. I want to believe that after the win against Peter Bamela, the players got into celebration. Because we were told that they were given 2 days, out of camp, and they went celebrating with their families. For sure, they went into exercise and all that, so they need to pull out this exercise, get back into it, get focused. This issue of concentration again, let them know that the league is started already and they have to get focused. When you drop 2 points out of 3, it's complicated. You need to get all the points if you want to go places. And Fogo is a team, and that deserves playing the top of the table, not the bottom of it.
Well, Fogo is a team that deserves playing the top of the table and not the bottom. That's quite a really strong statement. And we'll see how that plans, because we've seen other teams as well that have, proven that they are yet to stay and they are yet to top the tables. I mean, we've seen a side like Anon Sportif that has, defeated all opponents, and we're looking forward to their next game to see how far this side can go. Well, just a little information on the classification. We start with Pool A, where Coton Sport de Garoua currently leads with 4 points, followed by Stade de Renal de Melong that has 4 points as well. Victoria United of Limbe has 3 points, while Fovo Football Club de Baham has 2 points, alongside Apejes de Fou. Avion Academy and York Sports of Bamenda have 1 point each, with UMS of Lume and Feuvazu on the bottom with 0 points. Now we move over to, that was in Pool B, sorry. We look at Pool A, where Canon Sportif de Yaoundé has 6 points, the only side to have done it so far. Dynamo de Douala has 4 points alongside AS Fortuna de Fou, while Les Astres de Douala have 3 points, 3 points same as well for Bambutu de Buddha and Gazelle de Garoua and PWD of Bamenda, while Colombe du Jan Lobo have 1 point alongside Union Sportive de Douala. You look at the points table, has the winner already been identified, or there's still more to come?
It is still too early. In a group of 10, you have 18 matches to play.
Yes.
A group of 9, 16 matches is still too early. You could be Canon today on 6 points, and then you find yourself at the bottom. Mark you remain focused from day one to the last day of play. It's going to be a very complicated championship, because what's happening is that there are just 19 of us, and 5 are going to be relegated, which means 15 will remain in League One. And we talk of 5 being relegated, it means that you're going to have the play downs. You have to be in the first 5 of your group if you want to get it on, and then you need to be in the first 3 to go for the playoffs. It's really going to be complicated. You could be occupying the 6th rank on the last playing day, and you're just maybe 2 points away from the second or the first of the big placings. So I think till the last minute of this championship, a lot is going to be done. It's true, we have regrets that it's going to be not all that. It's going to be a very short championship. We expected them to have something lengthy where they could play some 30, 36 matches. But remember, club presidents are the ones that proposed. People keep on saying that is the FA. No, the club presidents proposed that looking at what's ongoing, the poor transport network, the insufficient finances they've got, let them go on with the playoffs formula this season. And then next season, we get on 16 where we have a complete championship.
Well, let's look at Elite 1 Day 3 fixtures. We talk about Yon Sports Academy that will play Avion. UMS will meet with Fauve Football Club de Baham. Feu Vazu against Coton Sport de Garoua. Victoria United will host Stade de Rena in Limpe. Gazelle against Canon Sportif. Dynamo against Aigle de la Ménois. AS Fortuna against Les Astres de Douala. Colombe Sportif against PWD. Last but not the least, Union Sportif against Bamboutus de Bouddha. On a vu ce classement ou ce last question before we bid farewell. Which game are you looking forward to, Monsieur Mbe?
Je vais voir Union
Bamboutus. Yeah. Je me rappelle comme tu as dit que tu étais au goal et on t'a donné, a hard time.
2-0 à la mi-temps et puis tu fais quoi dans les cours? Bimi, il fait quoi?
Okay, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much. Hopefully in our subsequent editions we get to get fan reactions as well as amazing goals scored in day 1 and day 2. Well, it's on that note that we put an end to La Presse refait le match right here on STV. Remember, is at 4:30 to 6 p.m. Thank you so much. Through Gilbert for coming.
It's been
Thank you so much. Bienvenue Paul.
Courage to the Baka boys.
I'm going to have a plaisir. Okay, have a wonderful time. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.